The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Friday, the 9th day of May, 2025. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy. I'm Jamel Hartman, and Teo Dill will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in the news break brought to you by People's. Happy Friday. How's everybody doing? Like, seriously, how's everybody doing? I am excited. I am happy. Not because it's Friday, but because we're back doing this again. You know, I keep telling you all, brother loves doing this. I love doing it, but I'm happy. I'm excited. I'm just looking to the side as I try to, do something I tell you all to do every day, and I realized, well, I'm not doing it. Right? What do I tell you? I tell you to, whether you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter X, all that stuff. The challenge is we're going to have a talk about this, right? I do my best not to call out Bermuda companies. I really do. I do my best. But somewhere along the way, we've got to get some better service, man. Internet service in this country, this island, it's poor. It's poor. It's really poor. So my hope is that we can figure some things out and make sure that Bermudians, because we're promoting digital this and digital that, and we can't even make sure that everybody has good internet service. And this is on, let me be very clear. This is on private business. This is on private entities. I asked the other day, by the way, you all, real quickly, little announcement. Some of you ain't going to be happy. You're probably like, man, I got tired of seeing you at the same time. But I'm not leaving tomorrow now. I pushed my ticket back because, yeah, I've enjoyed you all so much. But now, Pops' birthday is next week too. So, I don't want to miss his party that he's probably not having. But I'm going to be here. I'm staying. And I know people like, well, just stay to Bermuda Day. Well, got tickets for a comedy show. So I got to get out, I can always come back. But anyway, happy Friday to you all. I would rant if I had my way. How's everybody feeling? Let us know. We've got Suzanne Ingham. She says, super awesome Friday, Jamel and Teo. I'm going to miss you for 2 days, Jamel, but I'm going to have a super weekend. You better have a super weekend. I know you'll have a super weekend, Suzanne. How everyone else feeling? It's Friday. Anyway, greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us a part of your daily routine. A good one today as we welcome the Honorable Minister Owen Darrell, Minister, hold up, it's a long one, Tourism, Transport, Culture, and Sport. He's coming on. We're going to be discussing Heritage Month. One of my favorite months. Back in February, when everyone was talking about Black History Month, I said, our Black History Month is also Heritage Month, where all things Bermudians should be coming first. It's an opportunity to learn, have fun, engage with our community and the like. So really, really looking forward to the conversation with the minister. The Daily Play is a things you should know. All right. All I'm going to say, it's around this month, right? So it's a things you should know. And I hope everyone in the audience guesses this right, regardless of age. All right. Don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right, folks, here we go. Here we go. Shawnette Bell saying, good and relaxed. She's feeling good and relaxed. I love to hear it, Shawnette. I love to hear it. Good and relaxed. Kenton Trott, celebrating. I feel like he just jumped up in the air. It's Friday. All righty. Well, let's get into today's question. It's only right that we finally, it is Friday Fun Day, brought to you by our friends at Mailboxes. Don't forget, folks, you can get 2 years of free membership from Mailboxes. All you have to do is go to mailboxes.bm / the daily hour. So you can go to mailboxes.bm / the daily hour for 2 free years of membership. And this is your daily discussion brought to you by our friends at Titan Express and Secure Trucking. Alrighty, here we go. Last week, unfortunately, we could not have this conversation due to the events that took place the night prior. Today, we get back to having fun on a Friday. But as we move forward and engage one another in this manner, it's important to remember why we do it, how we do it, and to ensure that what we learn from days like this, how we engage on days like this, carries over into the greater community so that we don't have to discuss or worry about events like what happened last Thursday night happening in Bermuda again. I love this question. If you are on our Instagram, you saw the question last evening. What comes to mind when you think Bermudian heritage? And I'll tell you why I love this question. I'm pretty sure any one of you who's lived outside of Bermuda or went to college, university outside of Bermuda, and you probably had a bunch of Bermudian friends. And I remember when I was in school in Alabama, and people would say, Bermuda doesn't have any culture. And da, da, da. I'm like, Bermuda has plenty of culture. What I feel now looking back is, it's not that we don't have any culture. We didn't embrace the culture that we had. But what are your thoughts? What comes to mind when you think Bermudian culture? What comes to mind when you think Bermudian culture? That's your question of the morning. What comes to mind when you think Bermudian culture? Okay, let's go to the comment on Instagram. So Instagram, we got quite a few answers. I should have had it up. So let's go. We're going to go to the Daily Hour Instagram, folks. Let's go to the Daily Hour Instagram and see what commenters were saying in response to this question. And you can answer in the audience as well. Okay, you can answer in the audience as well. So we got. How do I look at this, man? Social media is not easy to use. You all like. I don't know, man. Okay, what comes to mind when you think Bermudian heritage? So this was interesting because it had nothing to do with like a person or an event or anything, but someone said manners, how we talk, and community. You know what's crazy? That is part of Bermudian heritage. That's our culture. And I was walking down Queen Street the other day, and I noticed I'm not putting myself on a pedestal, but I noticed that I was speaking to some older women. And it was almost like they were shocked and didn't expect me to speak. Now, I'm not saying we should go back to the 80s and the 90s and whatever, but when I was younger, if you walk across someone without speaking, it was deemed rude or disrespectful. Now it seems like, no, this is just par for the course. This is 2025. We don't speak. We're not as mannerly. We don't have that sense of community. Tell me I'm wrong, please, audience. Tell me it was just me. All right, what else? What comes to mind when you think Bermudian heritage? What are the first things that come to mind when you think Bermudian heritage? We've got, oh boy, this is entertaining. Actually, we're going to ask the minister about this as well. Someone said, end of April, the duct tape goes on the sidewalks in Hamilton. Man, that is Bermudian heritage, whether we like it or not. I would like to know where else in the world do they do such a thing? Because I'm pretty sure most places like the Macy's Day Parade and so on, you have to pay for access to certain spaces. Now, I'm not saying the government or the city of Hamilton should charge people. Let me be clear. I am not saying that. All right. What else? Someone said, yeah, I messed this up. How do you This social media stuff, man. Um, I saw proper printed labels on the duct tape. Oh, so you all are not using marker or anything anymore, huh? All right. Gumbays, obviously. And someone, Traveling Trotty, also said gumbays as well. So when you think Bermudian heritage, gumbays. All right, gumbays. Um, Another person says to what comes to mind when you think Bermudian heritage, they said gumbays, fishing, Good Friday, May 24th, lobster pots. Okay, I've got a question. I have a question. Do you refer to it as May 24th or Bermuda Day? Which one? Do you refer to it as May 24th or Bermuda Day? You can't change Larry Marshall Jr., you cannot change his mind. And because he's won the Bermuda Day half marathon derby, that's one thing I don't argue with him about. We will argue about everything else, but I don't argue, I give him that one. But that brother will never say Bermuda Day. He will always say May 24th. I say Bermuda Day now, folks. I do. The reason I say Bermuda Day is because working in tourism, that's how it was easier to explain it to people outside of Bermuda than to say May 24th. But let's see, what do you say, Bermuda Day or May 24th? We've got 24th of May, says Ken. Right. Some people say 24th of May, right? Well, most people, when I grew up, said 24th of May. May 24th, says Maya. SC Skincare, like me, says Bermuda Day. Rosalind Famous says May 24th. Sean Smith said May 24th. Ariana Hudson says 24th of May. Okay. All right. So cool. All right. Let's get back to the question. What else, audience? What else you got? What comes to mind when you think Bermudian heritage? We've got Kenton Trot says gumbays, picnics on the beach with family, generosity of our people. Sonia Clark also says gumbays. I mean, folks, we just had majorettes. Okay, somebody said, we just had a big conversation about the Bermudian majorettes yesterday. Seanette Bell says majorettes, indeed, indeed. Let's show the ladies some love. Suzanne Ingham says runners, swimming, beaches full, parades, staying home and watching the race online. I used to go to Cavendish Heights and watch the runners. It's so full now. I don't go. I rest Bermuda Day. We're not talking about Bermuda Day. We're talking about Bermudian heritage. It can be any time of the year, but thank you for that, Suzanne. Maya says, must be just you because I've been yapping away since I've been home, been talking to any and everyone. Well, you don't let me, Maya doesn't let me do man on the streets interviews with her anymore. She doesn't like me going out there because she thinks I'm too aggressive, right? Yeah, true story. I'm not lying. She can tell you in the comments, but yeah. I yap on the show more, that's why. Mark C. Phillips, when he thinks Bermudian heritage, May 24th, cop match, cunny game, fish sandwiches following the gumbays on Boxing Day. Yep. I haven't followed the gumbays since like 2014. It's been a while. That was probably the last time. Was it 2014 or 2013? 2013, yeah. What else, audience? What else? Shonette Bell says, arrival of the Longtails. Charles H. Duffs II says, I think you're wrong, Jamal. I think for the most part, we are still a polite community, including young people. I still say good morning while walking the streets, but especially entering room. No, it's just me. Nobody wants to talk to me, Charles. Well, there was a lady, I have to share this, and I don't know if she's tuned in. She didn't give me her name, but I was walking through a store in the city in town the other day, and she says, good morning, Jamal. I said, hey, and she says, you don't know me, but what I will say is I'll let Sherry know you're much taller than she makes people believe. So I appreciate that lady. So, madam, if you're watching the show, I keep telling people, I mean, I'm 6'2", I mean 5'7", but that's neither here or there. You know, I'm not as short as, you know, they try to make me out to seem. I know, but I appreciate it. And to that lady, thank you for your support. Thank you for tuning in and watching the Daily Hour and being part of our community. We appreciate you. All right. What comes to mind when you think Bermudian heritage? We've got Cunny Game, Bay. See, that hashtag is what got it, because we might not have read the comment, but Bay Old Day. Yeah, here we go. We've got Manuela John says, we used to sing 24th of May is the Queen's birthday. If we don't have a holiday, we'll all run away. Ah, I like that. I haven't heard that before. I love that. What else is Bermudian heritage? When you think Bermudian heritage, what comes to mind, audience? What comes to mind? We've got Anika de Shield says Bermuda kites. We've got Kenton Trot says pack racing. Not as much. No. Okay. So now, man, growing up, that's all you heard about. Like when people turn 16, pack racing. Now, it was not safe. It wasn't safe. And Kenton will probably pull you over now if he saw you doing it. But that was a big thing. I haven't heard that term in quite a while. Yeah, that was something. Kites. Kites, says Shikarena. Banana leaf dolls, says Rosalind Famous. Banana leaf dolls. I love this here. Bermuda architecture. Something we really, in my opinion, are ahead of the game on, honestly. I love the way, when hurricanes come, I used to live in Florida, and when I was in Florida, people used to say, oh, we just go to the liquor store, but your homes will be blown away. I think Bermudians, while I don't like the way we may seem arrogant towards Mother Nature, as the former director of the Weather Service once said, Bermuda is the one place you want to be if a hurricane would have come due to the way our homes are built. Marquita Lee says camping on Cotton Match. Do people still camp? I've done it once, right? But you just don't see as many people camping like they used to. Do you all still camp? Yes or no? Here, Maya said, my approach is too strong. Probably why the women were shocked that I spoke to them. So I'm just not going to speak to women on the street anymore, folks. The elderly ladies that I was speaking to, I'll let you speak to me first. That's what I'm going to do. Because I say, good morning, too strong. Yeah. My goodness. It's the sales guy in me. I like to talk to people, and, hopefully you like to talk to me as well. Sean Smith says, our language. I think Rosalind Famous said this many years ago when we first started Fun Day Friday. What's the term she used? Rosalind, I know you're tuned in. Was it something? I don't want to think about it. I'm trying to improve. Like, if I don't know the word, let you all say it for me. But I think she mentioned something to do with our dialect before. Kathy Rogers says, I used to say 24th May. Now I say Bermuda Day because it's not always on the 24th. Indeed, indeed. All right, folks, this is your daily discussion brought to you by our friends at Titan Express and Secure Trucking. It's also Friday Fun Day brought to you by our friends at Mailboxes. Don't forget, you can get 2 years of free membership. Just go to mailboxes.bm/the daily hour. Sign up today. The question of the morning is, what comes to mind when you think Bermudian heritage? What comes to mind when you think Bermudian heritage? Give it to us. Give it to us. We've got Charles H. Jefferson II says, you've never heard that song before, Jamel? You're not that young, are you? Well, I don't think I'm young. I'm not old like you, Charles, but I mean, older like you. Sorry. Much more mature like you, Charles. That's what I meant. Hadley and Swan says, a delicious day off from work. What comes to mind when you think Bermudian heritage? A delicious day off. What do you mean a delicious day off from work? Like just any day? What is she talking about? That's not Bermudian heritage, is it? Don't make us seem like we just don't want to work, Miss. I'm going to call you heads today. Bermuda shorts. Says Shawnette Bell, don't get me started, man. They came at me on Twitter X like earlier this month or last month for criticizing Bermuda shorts. Don't do that. I'm not doing that. WKD Lama says moon gates. Yeah, I didn't know moon gates were so unique to Bermuda until I started working in tourism. Yeah, true story. Rosalind Famous says Bermudian accent. Yes, and she said, yep. That was the word. See, I would have got it right. Our Bermudian vernacular, that's the word she said, is one of our most unique characteristics. See, I leave it to the experts. Colorful houses and white roofs. In certain places in the US, I didn't know that colorful houses were frowned upon. Like it wasn't something to celebrate. Like, some people thought you had the purple house or blue house, it made the houses look bad, but it's just the way that their houses look traditionally in certain places. Charles H. Jefferson II also says, I love the colors of the houses, but many are turning down with bright colors. Yeah, man. I think they got criticized by someone visiting Bermuda and just said, yep, I'm off. I'm not doing it. Fishing off the rocks, one of my favorite pastimes. I know a lot of people say, You don't like swimming, you don't like the ocean, you don't like water. But what I do love, folks, and I truly do appreciate, is going fishing off the rocks. I just hope that we never have to get a license to do this. Someone said we may need a license one day to fish off the rocks. That would be horrible. I guess protect the environment, it makes sense. Folks, we've got catch rainwater with our roofs. Ahead of our time, man. Ahead of our time. Sean Smith said that one. All right, folks, let's bring Taylor in. I want to say this before we bring Taylor in. I'm pretty sure he has some coverage from last night's vigil. I got home last night and I was up very late. Watched about an hour and something of that vigil, man. And I encourage everyone to watch it at some point. It was heartbreaking, man. Heartbreaking watching that, especially when you know these things should not happen. It's not like it's an accident. Like this is just pure evil within our community. And I asked myself as I was watching this, because those responsible have access to watch TNN or wherever else it was streaming. Like Jamal, what do you think's going through their heads when they see the community grieving and mourning unnecessary violence and the results of their violence? I don't want to think they don't have a conscience to the point where they just celebrate or have a shot or a toast to this. I don't want to believe that that kind of evil exists within our community. It can't. Or am I being naive? It's a daily discussion brought to you by our friends at Titan Express and Secure Trucking.
The Daily Discussion is brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Visit TitanEXBDA.com, your leading tour and transport provider specializing in Black History tours throughout the island. And SecureBDA.com for all your property management, waste management, residential, and commercial trucking needs. Professional, punctual, and reliable service is our commitment to you.
All righty, welcome back. Let's bring Taylor Dillon for Daily on this break. Don't go anywhere. We've got the Minister of, wait for it, Tourism, Transport, Culture, and Sport, the Honorable Owen Darrell, coming on after the news break. So you don't want to miss our exciting conversation about Heritage Month. Man, that calendar is full. Like every and anyone, I met with those two expat ladies. I shouldn't say that. These young ladies who are in Bermuda working. Just last week, we met for a brew, and I'm going to actually send them the calendar, because I don't think it's a matter of Bermuda being born. It's a matter of what your interests are and aligning them. So looking forward to the conversation with the minister.
Morning, Jay. Morning, fam. How's everybody doing?
Hey, Tay Beezy, how you doing?
I am decent, and thank you for referencing the vigil last night, because I can't recommend that people take a look at it enough. It's the kind of thing that will focus your mind and hopefully open your heart and motivate you to act. Because I don't know, it's just so awful being this impotent or feeling this impotent, like we can't affect anything about this, that we're completely on the outside of it. But that's never been true. Like the stuff that all of us can do in our day-to-day lives, how we interact with people, like how we use our bodies, how we use our resources, how we use our voice to make this stuff stop. And this was the key message coming from National Security Minister Michael Weeks during the candlelight vigil, saying that we are the only ones that can end the ongoing gun violence killing our people, mourning the murders of Jasmine Smith, Shaquan Williams, and all other victims of gun violence, as captured by the good folks at Burn News.
In the couple of years I've been minister, I have been to more than my share of these. And we come together, we burn candles, we say things that are nice, but if we're going to make a change, brothers and sisters, people, So we have to stand up. We have to speak up. We have to call it out as it is. Right? That's the only way we're going to save lives. Because these young guys that are doing what they're doing, they're not somebody else's children. They're our children.
Yeah, I mean, Teo, when the violence really turned in 2009, we were both at the radio station then, and there were things we said and did back then. I mean, it's almost like we can still say them today.
Well, I mean, yeah, like the events that we ran back then, the sort of focus that we put the station on back then, you could just pick that thing up, drop it down 15 years later, and it would completely fit. The only thing that'd be different are the names and the dates.
Yeah.
Which is horrifying.
It's extremely horrifying. And as I said just now, I think I don't want to believe our community is that evil. And when I say that evil is, I've said this before. I said it many years ago. No one should feel safe if they know someone who is committing these kinds of acts. Because if you can take a life so easily of someone, literally, as the police described, shooting so indiscriminately, right? What makes you think this person cannot get angry at you one day and do the exact same? And here's the thing. Remember, I stated last year, not one person has been charged for any of the murders last year. And when things like this happen, right, people see, oh, there's no consequences, and the community just forgets about it anyway. There's this, people love to criticize Dr. Ewart Brown for making this comment, right? Quote, "This too shall pass," because they like to take things out of context. But when I think about that statement, it's so reflective of our entire community, especially when it comes to the destruction of Black men. Almost as if Minister Weeks is right. We have these candle vigils. We come together as a community, and then we go back with our lives. I don't want to share something publicly, but I'm going to share a bit. But I was embraced this week while walking through town and didn't know who it was because the person had a visor, like hug tight. And it was someone who literally had their face blown off back in 2010. Got a job now, doing well. I say that because I need people to understand. Don't be so arrogant, ignorant, and disrespectful to think that you have the right to take lives of others.
Yeah.
And one more thing, because I know we got to go, but I say this humbly. To protect yourself and your community, if you know something, you got to do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, the other, the thing that because you underlined the key factor, I think, in being at least peripheral to people that engage in this behavior. But the thing that terrifies me, man, this is the thing I that genuinely keeps me up at night. Like, if you are willing to indiscriminately kill others in this kind of way, it also necessarily means that you're cool with exponentially amplifying the likelihood that you get indiscriminately killed in response. Right? Like, which means that you don't really care whether you live or die yourself.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you solve that problem. Like, how do you convince people that their lives are worth protecting? And then before you get to like cultivating and supporting it, you know what I'm saying? That's anyway.
And it's deep rooted to the point where you're if I'm government, I'm confused. And this is why, even when it came to groceries, like, how does he do that? Like, cost of living. But with this, it's like, do you just take those who are doing this out of society and imprison them and work on the next generation, or do you try to save them, help them, and show them that you are loved?
You know what this has got me thinking? Next week, let's say next Wednesday, I will during the news basically explain what they did in El Salvador and the Philippines, right? Because they solved this problem, but in a way that I think a lot of us talk about, like going hard, attacking, vengeance, all that. But the consequences are things that these communities are not completely satisfied with. Because that's the other side of it. I'm sorry for being vague, but anyway, next week I'll have something good for you.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Now, you just made me think of something in your conversation earlier about the upcoming hurricane season. It's May. We ain't really talked about it like that.
No.
So you're right. And it typically starts on June 1st. Well, that's the official start to hurricane season. Turns out, yet again, it's likely to be busier than average, with forecasting models indicating that we should be seeing 17 storms over the hurricane season. And also, one storm is likely to form before we actually enter the hurricane season, like in before the end of this month, like in a matter of days and weeks type thing, which is just frightening that this has become the new norm. And it's all largely due to unusually warm water in the Atlantic, Caribbean, or Gulf basins during the spring. And as I use this phrase more often than I expected to on the show, it's all down to climate change and the fact that we haven't figured that thing out yet. So hurricane season is coming fast, maybe within a matter of like weeks. So get your stuff together, prepare accordingly. Like, we know how to do this, so let's not act silly.
And Tay, we got to be clear. When he says get yourself together, he's not talking about stocking up on liquor and stuff. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but seriously, go get your tarps and your wood, and make sure you're straight. Yeah,
that you can feed yourself and wash yourself.
Get your canned foods, your
potted meat, Vienna sausages, all that there.
Yeah, get Bermuda trivia to play with your family when the electricity goes out. 6 editions in stores right now. Sorry,
well done. Shout out. That's dope. Now, in other news, and this one I promise you haven't heard about, and I've been thinking about this all night. So you remember how a couple weeks ago I mentioned Bermuda ended up being a pretty big part of the recent Canadian general election campaign, when eventual Prime Minister Mark Carney's history running Brookfield Asset Management, a Bermuda-based company, and setting up $25 billion in investment funds here, became a focal point of his Canadian opposition. Well, even though he won, the beef is ongoing, and it has arrived here on the island, like literally yesterday. And a lot of people are paying attention to Bermuda as a result. Now, you can follow the whole saga on the Rebel News YouTube, rebelnews.com YouTube page. It's all fronted by the site's editor, this guy here, Ezra Levant. He's kind of like a Canadian Tucker Carlson. He's just as nuts, but a bit more polite. This video you're seeing from yesterday features him landing on the island for 2 hours. Got here at 12:30, went to town, bothered some people, went back to the airport for his 2:30 flight. He went to 73 Front Street, where Winner's Edge is, to take a look at Brookfield's local offices, which are just upstairs, saying that all this proves that Carney can't be trusted, is a tax dodger, Here's the interesting thing, right? This is wild to me. I went to the YouTube page to really dig into it. This video of his from yesterday got 50,000 views in 5 hours, more than 10 times the number of views of every single thing that they posted yesterday. In fact, the intro video that he posted from the airport in Canada heading to Bermuda beat the number of views they got the day before, featuring Prime Minister Carney's first ever meeting and session with President Donald Trump. Like, the Bermuda stuff is beating everything on this page. So I don't know if we need to be worried that the Canadian equivalent of Fox News Digital will be designating us as the most evil country in the world for Q2 2025. I don't know. Anyway, here are the most noteworthy. No, go ahead, Jay.
No, I was just going to say, big up to the tourism coverage and the advertising. We got the minister here today. I'm thinking that's some great coverage for us, right?
We'll get there. So okay. I was able to pull out some of the most noteworthy excerpts from a visit here, including, and Jay, I'm not making this up, Ezra Levant bothering one of your friends about this issue on Front Street. Yep. Going on to bother a poor fellow that works at Winter's Edge and finding out that Bermuda domicile companies don't operate like those or some of those in other countries. Like you need more than a mailbox to be domiciled here. Yeah, check this out.
And we're here is to track down why Mark Carney loves it. He loves the tax evasion. You probably heard of the myth of the Bermuda Triangle, a place that would swallow up boats, even swallow up planes. I don't know much about that, but I do know that Bermuda helps oligarchs like Mark Carney and his Brookfield Asset Management make billions or even tens of billions of dollars disappear before the tax man can go after them. I do not believe that Brookfield Asset Management is actually here in any real sense other than a mailbox.
So there is something else going on? Like there's offices upstairs?
Yeah.
How would I get there? Like is there a stairs or?
You would have to go, so you got the door, and then you go, there's a little alleyway on the left side.
Yeah.
And then there's a door there.
All right. Brookfield Bermuda, Brookfield Infrastructure Partners, Renewable Partners, Property Partners, Business Partners. That's on the 5th floor. So they really are here. It's not just the bike shop.
Did you know that Mark Carney, Canada's Prime Minister, set up offices in this building? What do you think of that? Did you know that?
I had no idea.
Oh, no way, Tate.
He talked to like 4 people, and it all lasted about as long as that. Where he was like, "Did you know?" And they're like, "Nope." Yeah, that's not that surprising, you know.
You
okay,
went
bye.
From 5th Avenue and asked a bunch of people, "Did you know this was?" They ain't gonna know what's in New York outside of what's interested.
No,
like they're interested in. Like, dude, come on.
But the best part of it is that I left it out because it just took too long. The young man, and shout out to him at Winter's Edge, mentioned to him that, but that's not the only Brookfield thing. They're building a whole new building right around there too. Like you see all that construction, that's gonna be the new place. He was like, "Oh, really? Oh, okay. Well, I mean, it's not there yet, so it wasn't there when he had the $25 billion. It's like he came in trying to gas something, and he just could have Googled it and saved himself a trip. Like, yeah, they got offices here. Yeah, people really do work here. Yeah, they're bringing even more people to work here. It's not one of them mailbox front company, shell company things.
Tay, we discuss politics, right? We do. But I think the obsession that people like a Carlson and that dude have is really for entertainment purposes rather than problem solving. Let's call it what it is. I think it's for entertainment purposes. And I think that's where I refuse to be that person. I think we refuse to be those people. Like, I think, we're here to find solutions through discussions, not entertain. There's some entertaining aspects outside of that, but that's entertainment, man. That's why it's got 50,000 views, because people are just like, I can't say that word, minus Tuesday, but you get what I'm saying.
Well, no, it's not just people reacting that way. Like he definitely gets his share of hate watchers, but he gets even more people that are all in. Like, trust me, like the what is it, OAN, and
that's not surprising. I mean,
no, well, it isn't surprising, which is depressing. You know, like people are all in on this stuff. Like they really, really, really believe it all, even as they see the guy take a 2-hour flight to be confronted with the fact that the business that he's been maligning for the better part of 6 weeks is in fact a real thing, and isn't just this shell company that doesn't actually exist.
Tell you, I think when I stopped taking folks like him serious, and if I'm wrong one day, history tells me I'm wrong, I'd humbly apologize. But I honestly stopped taking that kind of news seriously when they started this driven agenda. They did it with Serena Williams. Now they're doing it with Michelle Obama, that were born men, right? Like these are the kind of people that they are.
Actually, you know what? You're right. This guy in particular, yes, you are absolutely right. He dabbled in that.
And I hope that everyone is really tuned into this, because while it may be entertaining per se, which honestly it kind of is, because you just laugh it off, it's also dangerous. It's also very dangerous, because you're creating this perspective of Bermuda that we're just not. Okay, Tate, we got to do the weather. We got the minister.
Yeah. I'm sorry. So this weekend's weather will be largely defined by high pressure. Air temps in mid-70s, bunch of sun, decent breeze. Weak cold front should show up between now and Monday. So little rain will arrive over the weekend, but nothing crazy. If you want to go out, you can do it without having to worry too much about getting wet.
All right, cool. Yeah, the House is back in. They're debating the budget, so we don't want to make. Well, we can make minutes late there, get them in trouble. But we don't want to do that, folks. All right, so real quickly, it is Child Care Provider Day. Child Care Provider. Tate, do you remember who your child care provider was when you were a child?
Yeah. Oh, good Lord. Her Chapel Nursery.
Okay.
Well, my mama and my granny and my nana, but then her Chapel Nursery. Top of the hill. Anybody
else remember who your child care provider? You know what mine was? It got lost in the hurricane in 2003. But throughout like primary school and high school, my mom had the picture of me and I was nursery provider and child care provider on the at the front of the house, and I was the only little black kid and full of white children, and people used to laugh at me because everyone from the neighborhood went to Powell's and I went to Schoolhouse Nursery on Brighton Hill. Oh, so when I became an adult, I finally asked my mom. I said, well, why did I go there with and I was the only black child, and she said, well, that was the only one that stayed open later. Yeah, later where they could work second jobs and so on. So I thought I had a complex because of it, but I'm cool.
Oh, that's interesting. Did you ever go there while it was to talk to your old teachers and the people to look after you? Or wasn't that kind of relationship you had?
She took me there when I was real young, but I never went over the years because I kind of, my skin got darker. I'm joking, folks. I'm joking. Hey, Tay, we gotta go. But hey,
yeah.
See you soon, bro.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
All right, Tay O'Dill, folks. If you've appreciated the conversation, whether you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, X, Instagram, you know what to do. Help us beat the algorithm. Give us a like, love, follow. Share the link with your friends, family, and colleagues. We've got the minister coming up. We're talking Heritage Month, folks. We'll be back in a few. Stick with us.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
Hi there, welcome to Medical House. We're located at number 6 Bakery Lane. I can't wait to show you all of the great stuff that we carry. Come on inside, let's see. Long days, long shifts, you no longer have to endure comfortable underwear. Designed by nurses, we now offer premium undergarments by Swoop that are unique, fun, comfortable, and functional. The only underwear you'll ever want to wear. Who says high quality functional products can't be stylish and comfortable at the same time?
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
Attention home renovators and design lovers. Your dream space starts here. The brand new Kohler retail showroom at BAC Group is now open, bringing you up to 35% savings on all Kohler products at U.S. manufacturer suggested retail prices. That means no extra fees, no freight, no wharfage, no duty, no document processing fees, just pure cutting-edge Kohler design at unbeatable value. From sleek kitchen and bathroom faucets, vanities, toilets, to statement sinks, walking tubs, and spa-worthy bathtubs, BAC brings innovation and luxury within reach. Visit the BAC showroom on Mill Creek Road today for style, quality, no surprises. Just color from BAC.
Discover Drop It, your go-to grocery delivery. Browse and select from a wide range of groceries, from fresh produce to daily essentials. Our friendly drivers deliver fresh groceries to your door fast, saving you time and hassle. With Drop It, you get fresh groceries delivered fast so you can focus on what really matters. Drop It, freshness at your doorstep, delivered to your door with Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
Dreaming of expanding your business? With BDC's Loan Guarantee Program, we support your ambitions. Get up to 75% guarantee on bank or credit union loans up to $300,000. Just your vision and our support. Apply today and unlock new business opportunities. BDC, Bermuda Business starts here.
Alrighty, welcome back to the big show. Jamal Hartman here. It's the Daily Hour, brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy. Folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Please give a warm TDH welcome. We are discussing Heritage Month today. The Honorable Minister Owen Darrell, the Minister of Tourism, Transport, Culture, and Sport. I'm going to remember it one day. Let's give him a warm TDH welcome, folks. All right. Calm down. Sir, how are you? Good morning.
Good morning, Jamal. How are you? Good morning to you and your listeners.
Happy Friday to you. I got to ask you before we get into anything, right? Do you remember your child care provider?
I absolutely do. Yeah, I had a lady, she's passed away now. She was Miss Goodchild, and I went to St. Anne's Nursery, which was way up in Southampton. Interestingly enough, I lived on Napton Hill. So people say, well, why did you go all the way up to Southampton? My mom actually worked at Port Royal Primary School, so it was easier for her to drop me there. But interesting fact, I actually even remember my younger brother's childcare provider, and it was Schoolhouse Nursery. So you and he,
right near, baby.
You and he may have the same experience.
Yep. No, this audience, I say that's funny. I don't know anyone else that went Schoolhouse Nursery.
Yeah. I actually went across that place the other day, and I was shocked that it's actually still there.
Still open.
It is still open on Brighton Hill. They put a speed bump there. So, you know, after what, 40 years of a nursery being there, they finally decided to put a speed bump there to slow cars down. Interesting. But yes, I do remember mine, and I do remember my brothers as well. So
I think, you know what? Taylor asked a question. I think I'm going to stop by one day and just introduce myself. Obviously, all new teachers, probably new owners. I'm just going to introduce myself, say, you know, this is my beginning. This is the first place I remember being in a place. But thank you so much for joining us this morning. Sorry, you know, Teo talked a lot. You know, he was talking about football and everything else, and we got away from things. So forgive us for making you late for the host today. And we'll write in there as well.
It's not the host that you may make me late for. I am going to West Pembroke Primary School after I leave here to talk to the lovely students there about Heritage Month. So.
Not the student. Now I feel real bad. Okay, let's get into it. Let's get into it.
Yeah, let's get it.
There's a lot going on. As I was reading before this conversation, I was like, over the last couple of days, I'm like, wow. They have it going on. But just remind Bermudians, you know, I said it earlier, with all that's going on in Bermuda, you know, learning about who we are is so important. But why is Heritage Month so important for Bermudians to celebrate?
I mean, because you had a question earlier, what does Heritage Month mean to us? And Heritage Month is basically a celebration of Bermuda, her people, and our way of life, right? So it's really, really important. And a lot of times as young people, we don't appreciate the celebration of our heritage and recognizing the cultural uniqueness that we have in this island. And I can tell you that firsthand, as many people would know, that I was an educator for almost 20 years before where I am now. And it's I taught social studies. And, you know, one of the highlights of that course was a Bermuda social studies project that we used to do. And shout out to some of my colleagues back in the day, Miss Nicole Grant, Miss Lisa De Silva. We actually developed this project way back when I was a young teacher at Cedar Bridge Academy. And it involved students picking a cultural topic, finding, you know, they had to interview someone, they had to go out and take pictures. And the best thing is that they had to take like a demonstration of whatever they used to do culturally and present it. And to this day, I mean, you have individuals, I'll call one out, Miss Shalini Johnston, now always talks about this wedding project that she did, and people used to do gombe's and architecture and Bermuda cuisines, and it's really important. And I see a lot of my former students, and they say, you know, Mr. Darrell, thank you for getting me to do that project. I'll never forget it, and I still have the video of the presentation I did. So it's really important to be in touch with, you know, our history and why we have become the island that we have. So it's really important. And I really, really get into it and enjoy it. And everyone that knows me would know that, you know, Bermuda Day is one of my favorite holidays. Not an official holiday, but it might be right behind the holiday which I call Connie Game, Easter.
Hey, I knew you weren't going to say cup match.
Oh no! Everyone that knows me knows that Eastern counties, especially when Cleveland County are playing, is my favorite holiday.
Yeah,
Right? So,
his made of the holiday, folks. I get it, but I get it as a child of Eastern County. With all that said, what you just shared, this year's theme. Speak to this year's theme and why it was chosen.
So this year's theme is the future is now, right? And I want to just go back to last year's theme, which culture equals energy. And we brought that theme because the year prior to that, we had so much energy in this Heritage Day parade, Bermuda Day parade, May 24th parade, whatever you want to call it. We had so much energy, right? That the following year, so in 2023, we said, you know what? There's no other theme other than culture equals energy. And then if you go back to last year when we had that theme and that parade, you saw that the energy is actually brought to the parade by young people, right? I mean, you have these groups that you see groups that are now participating in the parade where their leaders started as little pom-pom girls, right? So you then say, well, wow, the future of this parade, the future of Bermuda, the future of carrying on our legacy and heritage is actually now, and it's right in front of our eyes, right? So we thought that was a fitting theme. You would see that many of the participants and floats are, have young people in it, and we're happy to highlight the young people that are going on. And you will see that we're not going to announce it today, but many of the grand marshals are aligned with that theme, and I think we'll be very proud to support our grand marshals. And I'm also happy to say, because I know how and everything that goes on in the background, that the team at the Department of Culture is led by some very, very intelligent and robust and energetic young people who are just ready to take culture and heritage and just continue to push it ahead in our community.
Indeed. Love it. Love it. As I stated, I went through the calendar and there's so much to do throughout the month, not just on Bermuda Day, not just the parade or Bermuda Day Half Marathon Derby or the Sinclair Packwood Race. Speak to some of the events that are taking place throughout the month.
Well, I'll tell you, as people would see, if you go to culture.bm, there's a full calendar of events for Heritage Month. And it's shocking that it's already May 9th. So some of these events have already taken place, but you've got one this weekend that people may say, oh, I didn't even think of that as a heritage event, but it's on our calendar, and that's Relay for Life, right? Relay for Life is a very important event on our calendar for Bermudians. You've got the First Harbor Nights that happens on May 14th. Now you may say, well, I never thought of heritage or Harbor Nights as part of Bermuda's culture or Bermuda's heritage. But if we decided we're not going to have Harbor Nights anymore, people would say, wow, like that's part of how I grew up is now missing. So we've got that on the calendar. We've got live music from artists such as Tino Martinez, who's going to be doing some live events at different establishments throughout the month. We've got Court Street Market, where our local vendors who sell cultural items can go to Court Street and sell them. You've got the True Stick Foundation. And here's a funny one for you, Jamal. And I looked at this on our Heritage Day calendar and I said, interesting. So the Department of Culture are sponsoring yoga courses. And I was like, wow, like yoga and heritage. And that is truly an example of the future is now, right? Yeah. Because I'm going to get in trouble. I know I am. But when I first started, looking at yoga, and it's probably been around forever, I was just like, well, how is doing a couple of stretches exercise, right? It just looked like stretching to me. I said, well, that's what you do before you exercise. But you can see that in this community and even around the world, yoga has taken off, and it now makes its way on a heritage calendar that we actually promote and support. So there's quite a bit, and it all, everybody thinks that after May 24th, but it's actually the holiday is May 23rd this year. But everyone thinks that after the holiday, heritage is over. No, we still have another week of events.
Correct.
So that is the biggest one. That is the one that we all get involved in. And not everyone goes to the parade. There's individuals that use that day to go to the beach for the first time. That's part of our heritage. There are individuals that put their boat over that weekend for the first time. So there's quite a bit going on. And
Mhm.
with it now kind of aligned and connected around Memorial Day weekend, we even see many tourists and visitors coming to Bermuda. And sometimes they don't even know that they happen to be in Bermuda during our biggest cultural event of the year. So it's definitely taken off. Again, the future is now, and I encourage everyone, however you decide to celebrate and participate in Bermuda Day or Heritage Day, or however you want to call it.
24th of May.
Yeah, I heard that conversation earlier, and it's what some people will say, and you'll see the post, right? No matter what you say, it's always May 24th to me.
Yep.
But I've definitely gotten in the habit since I was probably an educator of referring to it as Heritage Month and Heritage Day.
There you go. Well, real quickly on the yoga thing, I've done yoga the last 2 weeks since I've been in Bermuda, and he's right, man. I never thought it was actually,
It's some serious work,
boy. Yeah. I'm still walking. That's the important part. Let's talk about the parade this year. How many participants we looking at?
Last year was a record number of participants. We had 75 participants last year. The numbers is something that at this stage I do not disclose, because as we are still, finalizing numbers, I may say 50, and there will be someone guaranteed on Bermuda Day that would say, on May 9th, the minister said that there were going to be 50 participants, and I only counted 49. So, that was, so we don't give the numbers until I think I'll do a press conference probably the week of, and I will announce our final numbers then. But I will let you know, Jamal, and to your audience, there will be a few surprises. There will be some oldie but goodies back in the parade, and we listen. We listen as a government, as a department, and a lot of the I call it changes, a lot of the suggestions. Last year we put out a survey. We have listened to, and the way I operate, I sit down and I'll look across the table and I'll say, well, we have a suggestion for this. And they say, no, Minister, we can't do that. And the question I always say is, why not? Tell me why not. And they'll go through and tell me why not. And these are the pros, these are the cons. I said, well, let's go with the cons. Let's see if we can do it. Or let's see if we could come somewhere in the middle. So I'm happy, and I'm not going to release that because I want to build that excitement. But there will be some surprises in this parade that I've heard. You will see me walking the parade route on Bermuda Day. I do not stay down the viewing plot at Front Street. I do go around. I go to my family's spot up on Marketplace. We've heard the suggestions. Minister, why don't you do this? You guys should do this. It's too long. It's too short. Why so many gaps?
There you go. Thanks.
There's so many gaps, and there's so much that comes up. And what we don't wish to do is for a group that has been practicing and preparing for Heritage Month to perform and to put on a show for you for $0. Let me just put that out there. What we're not going to do is draw hard lines and say, you know what, you're not allowed to perform for your grandmother who always sets up outside the cabinet office. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we have to have some give and take. The marshals, they do a good job, but just as we hear kind of the individuals that watch the parade giving suggestions, we also have to listen to the suggestions of those that are in the parade. So it's something that we do not take lightly. A lot of work, a lot of man hours go into putting on a cultural display that everyone could be proud of.
You said there's going to be some surprises and some things that will be returning. Audience, I don't think he's going to tell us, but I want the audience. Let's put our heads together and try to figure out what this could be. I'm interested, but I want to go to the audience real quickly. And audience, if you have any questions or comments for the minister, please send them through. Charles H. Jeffs II is asking, it has been suggested on social media that Bermuda Day be canceled this year due to the recent gun violence, which I don't agree with. Will there be any remembrance of those who have lost their lives?
Absolutely. I mean, that those tributes are very personal to individuals in their community. You would have seen, sadly, 2 years ago, we had a footballer, Marco Warren, who unfortunately and tragically passed away a couple of weeks before Bermuda Day. And the PHC, obviously a club that he's very much a part of, took that opportunity to put a tribute out to their fallen member. So I expect that there will be tributes that will be in this parade. That is not something that we put any guidelines on. It's not something that we ask about, but I'm sure that you will see some sort of tribute in this parade. And we leave that for the communities. I mean, I think it is more heartfelt when it comes from the community to honor their loved one, how they feel it is appropriate and how they feel it is fit.
Indeed. Thank you for that. Karen Simmons says, "Oh, Warwick Majorettes returning and 50th anniversary." Okay, that was said yesterday. Warwick United. Have you got Dean Fogo says, "I know the surprise that Cedar Bridge Academy will bring this." Well, why are you all keeping secrets from me? Can you send a brother an inbox, Mr. Fogo? But how does it make you feel as minister? Because this is exciting. I mean, my former boss, Glenn Blakeney, was the minister who previously oversaw this back in the day, and to me, it's one of the most enjoyable times to be Bermudian during Heritage Month. As the minister, what do you take, just from a personal standpoint, before we let you go, what do you enjoy most about Heritage Month and being able to support the Bermudians in the Department of Culture in doing this?
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, this is not new to me, and I'll start there. Anyone that will see me on Heritage Day, Bermuda Day, again, however you want to describe it, will know that this is something I've done as long as I can remember. I enjoy connecting with people. It's heritage. So just like Cup Match, where you know where everyone's camp is located and you make it a point to go to those camps, it's the same thing with Bermuda Day Parade. You know where families are set up, and you know where they're going to be, and you know who's going to be there, and you know who has the best coleslaw and who has the best fried chicken. And dare I say, you also know who has the best swizzle. So, that's what I actually enjoy about Heritage Day. And a joke, a couple of years ago when I became the minister responsible for culture, and the first thing they said was, "Minister, how many guests would you like to sit at the flagpole?" And I looked and I said, "Flagpole? Sit at flagpole? I'm not going to the flagpole." And they said, no, Minister, you have to." And it was, if you know how I am, you know who I am. That was very restrictive for me, right? So I said, I'll give you 30 minutes. Give me 30 minutes at the flagpole, and then I got to do what I do, right? So I enjoy that. I enjoy getting out and just seeing people taking a day off, relaxing with their family. And, you mentioned something about putting tape down. It's almost to the point now where tape is just something that you do. Because even if somebody has tape down and you know that the Smiths have been in this spot for the last 20 years, your tape will be removed and the Smiths will say, no, this is our spot, check you later. So that's all part of, like you said, the traditions and the heritage of what Bermuda Day Parade has become. So I just enjoy getting out and connecting with, the public.
One last question. So I've been away the last few years for Bermuda Day, and I mean the coverage online via CITV has so many viewers. Is there any way, and this may be out of your remit, this may be DCI, but is there any way to kind of, I'm not saying it has to be Macy's Day Parade, but there are so many Bermudians that love to remain connected, whether it's Cup Match or Bermuda Day. Is there any way to improve the coverage, or is that not something that falls under your remit to ensure we can do?
I will tell you that is not under our remit. However, the production that goes on to that is massive. Behind the scenes, I got to see the behind the scenes over the last 2 years because, I show up on camera and they say, "Minister, how's the day going? How are you enjoying it?" And that's what people see. But what they don't see is, the cables that are running and the tests that have been put in and all the talking points and the camera men and women who are braving the elements, especially 2 years ago when it rained. So there's a lot of work that goes into it. And if it was easy, as they say, everyone would be doing it. But I will shout out to the creatives that we have because you have seen videos come online over the last couple of years where different creatives, I will shout out Kian Dickinson, Dion the Creative, Burn Memes, all of them pretty much pull out their cameras, their videos, and they capture the uniqueness of Bermuda Day from an angle that we may not see. So while I cannot promise that we'll expand the live coverage as you know it, I can promise you that we, as the Department of Culture, are supporting those creatives, and we will do even a better job to making sure that their coverage, their videos, and their work is readily available to the public.
Indeed. Minister, thank you so much for making time coming on. I just want to leave you with this. Charles H. Chapter 2 says, I appreciated seeing the minister up and down the parade route, especially the year when we had all the rain. I remember seeing you. I'm like, not me, bro.
Here's the thing, and I always say this, right? Because, you know, that will go down in history as to why did we have a parade in the rain.
Right.
And I'll quickly go through it. People had already set up, because that morning it was overcast, but it was no rain. So everyone was already set up. They were done. I saw these, you know, young ladies had their makeup and their hair all done. And you know, you just think people have been practicing for January. I called the weather service. The weather service said it will rain, and it will rain hard. But there is no electricity in this storm, meaning there was no lightning. So it's safe. It's going to be messy. It's going to be wet, but it was safe. And the rationale was, if you're going to pack up your tent now, you are going to get wet regardless. So we made the call, you know, and there we went. And not only was I up and down that parade route, but shout out to Whip Bermuda, because that year I had a whip, and first time ever on a whip. And when I tell you, the department was holding their breath. And that is why I was not on a whip last year, because they would not allow me to get on one. So thanks for that shout out. I enjoyed that year. I enjoyed last year. I enjoy every year. And we're looking forward to
what's crazy is that's what I remember about you the most, like the whip that you won. And I'm like, and I noticed you didn't have it last year. So I was like, oh, he must have got banned. They took him off the road.
Yeah, they definitely banned me. Yeah, it's
no whip again this year, Karen Simmons. No,
they told me no whip is over. I mean, they have tabs on me, because you know how this goes, right? I'm also the minister of sport. So I started the Bermuda the running race, the race, and they tell me, you know, you have to be at Bermudiana Road at 11 o'clock to judge floats. But at 11 o'clock, people are still coming in on the run. So it's like, you know, the Bermuda regiment are standing and they're like, Minister, we've been sent to get you. And I'm like, So I tell you, the behind the scenes that people don't know about is actually really, really intriguing. And shout out to everyone that brings that on. The acting director of culture, Ms. Carlita Lodge, her team, the permanent secretary for this ministry, Ms. Shivon Washington, and everyone that's involved in the Department of Culture and the Ministry of Tourism, Transport, Culture, and Sport. It's a day that we've been preparing for, and I'm assuring you and your listeners, Jamal, that it will be something that they will be proud of.
Minister, thank you so much. Looking forward to the rest of a great Heritage Month and Bermuda Day. We'll be in touch.
Absolutely. Thank you. Have a good day, everyone.
Minister Owen Darrell, folks, if you appreciated the discussion, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share the conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues. And how are you feeling about Bermuda Day after hearing that, folks? We'll get to it after this break. Don't go anywhere. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll wrap it up and send you off for the rest of the weekend. But we have a daily play that is reflective of Bermuda heritage and Bermuda trivia and Bermuda Day. If you don't get this answer, you will have your Bermudian card taken away. Stick with us.
Being from this little island, like yourself, we knew you needed access to reliable shipping. We set up mailboxes so you can skip all the long waits or held up in customs excuses.
With mailboxes, that won't happen. Get your packages in under 48 hours using our dashboard.
Plus, if you're a planner or headerer, our weekly consolidation service might be for you. We hold your packages in Delaware and ship them together to save you big time on shipping fees.
And with our warehouse being in Delaware, that means 0% sales tax. Pretty cool, right, guys?
Did you know 3 out of 4 people say that they have a good understanding of life insurance? But do they really? When asked how much the yearly cost would be for a 20-year, $250,000 level term life insurance policy for a healthy 30-year-old, 80% overestimated the cost by 5 times the amount. Ready for this? The true cost for that policy is about $220 a year. That's as little as 66 cents a day, or $20 a month. So let's put this into perspective. Compared to other monthly costs, isn't getting life insurance a no-brainer? If you can trim back on some of these expenses just a little bit, it will allow you to dedicate the savings toward an affordable life insurance policy. Contact one of our life insurance agents today to find the right policy for you.
looking for the best care for your pets, Novazak Feed and Supply has everything you need. From top quality foods to toys and supplies, we've got it all. Join our frequent buyer program and earn rewards every time you shop. Plus, we've been awarded the Clever Customer Initiative program for helping you save more. And don't forget, we open an hour early on Saturdays so you can get a head start on your pet care. Visit us today or shop online for easy pickup or delivery. Your pets will thank you.
Join us as we celebrate 5 years and 1,000 plus episodes of community conversations on Bermuda's daily talk show. The Daily Hour Gala takes place on April 26th at LF Wade International Airport. For more information and advance tickets, please send an email to admin@bermudacommunications.com. We look forward to celebrating all that's great about our community with all of you.
BAC's new color showroom is now open. Throughout April, for every $50 spent, your name will be entered to win great raffle prizes. Come learn from BAC, where luxury meets affordability.
Alrighty, welcome back to the Big Show. Thanks again to the Minister of Tourism, Transport, Culture, and Sport, the Honorable Owen Darrell, for stopping by for that conversation. Folks, again, if you haven't already, whether you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, X, Instagram, make sure you give us a like, love, follow, share the link with your friends, family, and colleagues, especially to let them know all that is going on and that they can do in Bermuda during Heritage Month. Thanks again to the BAC group of companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a regular basis. It is time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. All right, audience, are you ready? It's things you should know. Here we go. Who has the most wins in the history of the Bermuda Day Half Marathon Derby? My apologies. I didn't get to hit the air horn early. It's Kevin with a K, with a K-A, not K-E, but it is Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith is the correct answer. He has the most victories in the history of the race, currently one ahead of Chris Estwanick on 9. Lamont Marshall is actually on 6, so he's 3 behind the leading Kevin Smith at 9. So yes, Kevin Smith, yes. Dorian got it. Ellen Kate Horton got it. Jay Donovan has only won it once, actually. We've got, no, not Chris Estwanick, says Kajay. Lamont's on 6. Kevin Smith is correct. And one person spelled it right. Kevin Smith, Karen Simmons. So Kevin Smith has a record of 9 victories in the Bermuda Day Half Marathon Derby. All right. Well, folks, how's everyone feeling? I mean, it's Heritage Month. Did you enjoy today's conversation? How are you feeling about today's conversation? Did you learn anything new? Are you excited? I'm interested to see what the surprises are going to be, folks. I'm very interested to see what the surprises that the minister was talking about. Like, what do you think it's going to be? What do you think it's going to be? I'm hopeful that it's something we're all going to appreciate and continue to celebrate. Anyway, it is Friday, and we're going to do something that we always have to do and let you go. But let's give you a quote of the day first. It's your daily inspiration. And it's very simple. Very simple. It's from Nelson Mandela. Quote, "It always seems impossible until it's done," end quote. Whatever you say about Bermuda heritage, it's something we should cherish. It's something we should appreciate. It's something that we should celebrate. And I think, Rashida Godwin used to say it all the time when it comes to Black history, like the more we know about self, the more we can appreciate and celebrate self, right? But anyway, don't forget to subscribe on our website, follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy, for ensuring that we can do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you on Monday. Yes, on Monday, folks. I'm Jamal Hart, and please do make it a safe and a great weekend. We are out. Peace.